But honestly, I do think the Knicks, if you just think about where they were last year and you look at this game today against the Clippers, like you said, it was so much of a closer game than it ended up. 129 to 115, not even close. It was absolutely a closer game. Julius Randle is playing his butt off. Immanuel Quickley, let's be honest, in the last 4 games, he has emerged. And R.J. Barrett, like you said, matched up with Kawhi Leonard, Paul George. The Knicks are showing who they are. On a Sunday afternoon game against the Clippers, they're the lowest scoring team in the league, but they also hold their opponents to the lowest amount of points, and they showed that. And so Immanuel Quickley, to me, was the most fun guy to watch in this game. I know Julius Randle has been good all year, but Immanuel Quickley is playing his butt off, knocking down shots. Only made 2 threes tonight, but let's be honest, in the last 4 games, he's had 2 games where he was 5 for 8 from 3. He has emerged as somebody who can, I think, take this team to the next level. Am I getting ahead of myself? I don't think so. I think the reason he can really be a difference maker is the Knicks are the lowest scoring team in the NBA. They don't shoot a lot of threes. They don't make a lot of threes. They also are 22nd in the league in three-point percentage. But him, Immanuel Quickley, as a rookie, is shooting 40% from 3. In the last 4 games, he's had games of 25, 25, and 28, or I'm sorry, 31 points. And so those are big-time numbers, not only for a young guy who likes to swim on the floor and clearly loves being at MSG, but if this Knicks team is going to make that jump from we're better than last year, but now we want to be in that top echelon, you have to be a top team in three-point percentage. 5 of the top 6 teams in the NBA right now, Philly is the one that's not, but 5 of the top 6 teams in the league right now all have the top 5 three-point percentages. And so I think that's very telling. If you want to be a good team in the NBA as we currently know it, you've got to shoot the 3-ball. Tom Thibodeau, I think, is willing to let these guys do it. You just got to get the personnel, and I think Quickley is that guy to start that movement. He's knocking down shots, and it's been a flurry the last 4 games.
So, Novi, both you and I love some good three-point shooting at every level of basketball. And you mentioned that the Knicks are 22nd in percentage, last in terms of makes per game. Quickley can help fill that gap. But what else does this team need? Because is it solely one lights-out shooter on the floor? I would argue not when we look across the league.
No, you're absolutely right. It's not going to be just one guy. But let's look at where the Knicks were 20 games in last year, 4-16. I mean, that's terrible. That was not fun basketball to watch. Through 20 games before today's game against the Clippers, 9-11. So let's be honest, they've won twice as many and more games already this season. They've improved. Now it's about obviously drafting well. Obi Toppin, what does he become? We'll see. I think he's a solid pick. Free agency has been tough on the Knicks, but if you start to get good player development, which I think is the key, and you are seeing it, Obi Toppin has done good. Julius Randle now, he obviously isn't a player development case. That was a good free agent signing. You have to give credit to the front office. But if you can develop guys like Immanuel Quickley, you can develop guys like Elfrid Payton, like Austin Rivers, any of those role guys, and they start to surprise you and really play better than you expected. The Knicks have a few more wins. I think the Knicks become a free agent destination. And let's be honest, they could be just an all-star away if you look at a Julius Randle, R.J. Barrett. All of a sudden, Immanuel Quickley emerges as a really good guard, whether he's off the bench or a starter, and you sign a big free agent. I heard you, Monica and Kaz, already tampering for Dame Lillard. I don't know what his plans are, but let's be honest. Let's just say you put a Dame Lillard type guy, and I know that's wishful right now, on the New York Knicks. We're talking about a totally different team, and it would be fun to watch, wouldn't it?
Definitely.
You know, Novi, I know New York loves you. I'm pretty sure you haven't paid for a drink in this city for years upon years, but we got to switch to your home team. One guy that could have been on the free agent block next summer was Giannis Antetokounmpo, and in the nationally televised game, the Bucks got absolutely waxed by the New Orleans Pelicans, who have been up and down themselves this season. Are there any concerns about your Milwaukee Bucks and how they stand in the Eastern Conference?
Yeah, there are concerns. And to be honest, it kind of started when they played the New York Knicks on December 27th. The New York Knicks beat the Bucks by 20 points, and everybody thought, maybe that was just one of those NBA games. It's a tough schedule. It's a long year. That's just a bad game for the Bucks. But now we've seen the Milwaukee Bucks lose to the Pelicans and to the Hornets on Saturday and on Friday nights on back-to-back games and gave up 21 made three-pointers in both games. So you look at the Knicks, who are holding teams to basically just 10 made three-pointers per game. The Bucks are giving up double that just this weekend alone to some teams. And so I do think because the Bucks are built to be a defensive powerhouse, they have Drew Holiday that they traded for, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Brook Lopez. Those are three of the best defensive players in the entire league. The Bucks have to hang their hat on defense. They're a high-powered offensive team, yes, but to be great, to take that next step, to win a championship, you've got to be top 5, top 10 offensively and defensively. I think the Bucks are built to be that, but they have absolutely not shown that in just a few games this weekend and against the Knicks. We've seen that. And so I'll be honest, I do think of recently, there certainly are some concerns.
All right, Novi, we're about 20 games or so in, and one of the big things going into this season, really quickly before we get you out of here, was the impact of COVID on players. What have you observed so far?
You know, I think the league has done an incredible job as far as COVID. You look at the bubble last year, I mean, they put hundreds of millions of dollars into creating a so-called bubble or campus in Orlando so guys could stay safe and, truthfully, so fans could have basketball to watch when the world seemed like it was ending. So I think you have to give the NBA a ton of credit. They've continued to keep guys healthy. They're going to continue to test like crazy, and they've done a lot of contact tracing and given a lot of money to research for testing and for tracing. But I think the key is going to be, don't let your best players hang out together, because when you saw Paul George and Kawhi Leonard have to quarantine or be in the COVID protocol because they were hanging out together, I'm thinking, can't you have the best guy on your team just hang out with the 15th guy and go to dinner? Can't there be some kind of buddy system? They've done a good job, but come on.
Same thing happened to the Wizards.
I'm always down for some good gamesmanship, okay, Novak? And I'm hearing you. I'm like, you know what? Send the 15th guy on the bench to go hang out with the star player, all right? You got to play the game within the game.